Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So inshallah today we'll start the third section of the course, which is ayahs 50 through 75, and we'll begin with the first 5 ayahs, and then we'll do a new grammar lesson for today inshallah. So just as a reminder, we're still talking about the Bani Israel, the people of Musa alayhi salam, and we just finished saying Ya Bani Israel adhkuru ni'mati allati an'amtu alaykum. O Bani Israel, remember the favors that I have favored upon you. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saying. Among those favors, He saved them from Al-Fir'aun, Yasumunakum su'al adhab. So in continuing with those favors, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions 4, 5, 6 different favors in this next few ayahs. So this ayah talks about another favor. وَإِذْ وَعَدْنَا, and when. And all these ayahs are beginning with and when. So we know what وَإِذْ is. And when وَعَدْنَا, from وَعَدَ, it's, if you notice there's an extra alif here. Okay, and again that's part of the wazn and not conjugation. But you can notice the noon, which is part of the conjugation. We promised. And again, people were getting sometimes confused between ahad, covenant, wa'ad, promise, which is slightly different. Similar meanings, but different. When we promised Musa, arba'ina layla, 40 nights. And arba'in, you just, for right now, memorize. Inshallah, we'll do the numbers in Arabic at some point. But it's a fairly advanced concept. It seems very simple. Anytime you learn a language, the first thing they try to force down your throat is the numbers. But usually the numbers in a lot of the languages actually are difficult. Sometimes they don't even have a pattern, like in Urdu. That's what I think. But at least in Arabic, they have a pattern. But again, the formation of numbers is difficult. If you know the numbers 1 through 10, واحد اثنين أربعة ثلاثة أربعة خمسة, you can guess arba'in has something to do with 4. Arba'in means 40. Okay, so, but many of us know, like Musa went for 40 nights, so we can just remember when you have to translate it, arba'in is 40. Laylatan, nights. And this is a singular. ثم اتخذتم, then اتخذتم, you took. You all masculine, you masculine, all. And I'm writing this, even though we did ittakhadha before, just for your benefit, and also to show how to translate it on the exercises you all took. And you can see there are a lot of extra characters for the wazn. It's ifta'ala, so it's ittakhadha, ifta'ala. And another thing you can notice about this, we said thumma ittakhadhtum. When we read the Quran, not thumma ittakhadhtum. So this alif is just there as a place marker, as a holder. It's just like when we did the command verbs. The command verbs, for example, we said you put in the you form, taf'al, lu, you drop the, or we will do it when we do the command verbs. You drop the end, you drop the beginning, and if you have this, you add a helper vowel. So it's just the same way. This is not a command verb, but this is how you form the commands. And we talked about this a little bit. Al-ajl is the calf. It comes from the root ajala, which is obvious. Those are the only 3 letters there. The calf, and the ajal means quick or hasty. So how a calf is related to hasty, you can make that connection, but just to make it easier for you. Most of the time when you see ajala and something other than ajal, any other word, it has something to do with quick or hasty. Ajil, things like that. Min ba'dihi, from after him. So basically after he left. Because Musa left for 40 nights to get the tablets from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Min ba'dihi, from after him. Meaning from after the time he left. Wa antum zalimun, and you all, meaning Bani Israel, you all are or were zalimun, ones who oppress. Ones who do wrong, transgress, or oppress. Zulm really means oppress, so that's why I like translating it that way. Okay, this is an even shorter ayah. Thumma, Thumma is then. We had it a couple times, but there's still some issue in remembering it. So thumma is then. These are all conjunctions, not prepositions. Ila, fi, ala, those are different. But wa, fa, even kind of falamma, thumma, all of these are conjunctions. They come less often, but they're still very important, very critical words in a sentence. Thumma afawna, they're also harf. Thumma afawna, afwa. We all know what afwa is, forgave. So we forgave ankum, on you all, again on Bani Israel. Thumma afawna ankum min ba'di dhalika, from after. Dhalika means that. And the grammar lesson for today is ism ishara. So this is ism ishara. This, that, those, these. Fairly straightforward. La'allakum, we translated this before, so that you may. And again, there are many ways to translate it. There's no such thing as an exact translation. But I think this is probably the best way. Tashkurun, you give thanks. You do shukr basically, from the word shakara. As you can see, you can make a verb from any root. So you give thanks. And this is all you have to write for the exercises. Again, you can add gender and number if you want, if it's not already implied by this. Okay, some people are writing like this. They all. They is already plural, so you shouldn't write the all. But if you have you, then you can add for example, and then he. You don't write masculine after he. There's no feminine form of he, right? So don't do that. Okay. ثم عفونا عنكم من بعد ذلك لعلكم تشكرون. So what did they forgive? Again, for context, what did they do wrong? They took the calf in worship, major sin, shirk. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave them. من بعد ذلك. وَإِذْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَالْفُرْقَانَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ. And when? Again, we start the favor. It's another favor. We start, and when? آتَيْنَا, we gave. Again, the root ataya, it has multiple different forms. One is ata is to approach, to come. Ata is to give, or to, what ata could be to bring. So ata bi is to bring. So when we said utu bihi mutashabiha, utu by itself would be they came. You can't have a passive of utu by itself. But when it's utu bi, they were brought. Mutashabiha, right? Because came cannot have a passive. They were come. That doesn't make any sense. If you don't have an object, then you cannot make a passive. That's an important point. I ran. I was run. Doesn't make any sense. I walk. I was walked. Unless you're a dog, that doesn't make sense. So it has to have an object. I taught something. I taught a book. I was taught the book, or even without the object. It doesn't have to be in the sentence, right? The object doesn't. It can be I taught, I was taught, but that verb has to be able to take an object. So again, there are two forms of atayna. One that can take it, this root word. There's one verb form that can take an object. That's ata, to give something. Atayna Musa al-kitab. This is taking an object. We gave Musa. Both of these are objects. Musa is always Musa. Atayna Musa al-kitaba. We gave Musa the book. In the form ata, you only have a subject. But you can change that form also to take an object by adding bi. Ata bi. Okay. Wal Furqan, and the book. So we gave Musa al-Kitab wal Furqan. Al-Furqan is also the name of Quran too, right? Because we had a word like this before, fariq. Fariq. Fariq means a party, something that's different from something else. So the firq, the split between two parties, here the split is between right and wrong. Fariq, distinguisher. So Furqan. Furqan is something that distinguishes. Often translated as the criterion. You can also translate as the distinguisher. La'allakum, again, so that you all may. Tahtadun, you all may be guided. Not hada. It doesn't say tahdun. Okay. Tahtadun is you all be guided versus hadallah. Again, this is a difference between one that can take an object and one that doesn't take an object. Again, hadallah. Fahadallahu alladhina amanu. So Allah guided those who believed. There's an object. He guided those who believed. Tahtadun is to be guided. You yourself are just being guided. Okay? So that doesn't take an object. Tahtadun does not take an object. Ihtada, tahtadun. You, and again, you can put the gender and number qualifier to be complete. Tahtadun. Okay. This is the longest ayah here in these 5 ayahs. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ. And when Musa said to his qawm. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ. All of these words we already know. Li, remember the harf jar. To his qawm. That's why it has a kasra, right? Any word comes after any harf jar, it's, what did we call it? Majroor. We called it majroor. لِقَوْمِهِ. Majroor means anything that should take a kasra because of its grammatical context. To his people. His people. Ya qawmi. O people. But it's O my people. Again, just like last time. إِيَّايَ فَاتَّقُونِ. There was fattaqun and the ya was shortened to just kasra. Ya qawmi. Otherwise, if it was just O people or O qawm, you would just say Ya qawmu. Unless it was in a idafa, which we'll cover later. But the default case is dhamma. So why is there a kasra? Because it's not just kasra, it's ya that's being shortened. Ya qawmi, O my people, innakum, indeed you all. Again, inna. Some people still are having trouble inna versus anna. Anna, yes, in certain contexts can have emphasis. But anna really it means that. An means two. Okay? Again, the differences between these are sometimes confusing. So uridu an dot dot dot. I want to do something. Uridu an. Astati'u an. I can do such and such and such. Versus anna. I thought that. Adhunnu dhanantu anni mulaqin hisabiya. I thought that such and such. Versus inna. Indeed. Innakum zalamtum. And this is just, again, the most common definitions. They kind of merge together, yes, anna and inna. But anna should be that when you translate a word to word. Inna should be indeed. Zalamtum, you all did zulm. You all oppressed. Or you all wronged. You wronged. Zalamtum anfusakum. Your souls. Anfus is the plural of what? Nafs. Nafs. Anfusakum bittikhadikum. Ittikhad. Iftial. Okay, from the same word that we had 2 ayahs ago. Ittakhadhtumul ajla. Bittikhadikumul ajla. It's the same, is referring to that action. That was the verb. Ittakhadhtumul ajla. You all took the calf for worshipping purposes. This is the noun form. Your taking of the calf is what is getting you in trouble. Ittikhadikumul. The exact same word is being used in the noun form. Ittikhadikumul ajla. You wronged yourselves with your taking of the calf, or because of your action. So the action, the noun is ittikhad. Ittikhadikumul ajla. You wronged yourselves by your taking of the calf. Ittikhadikumul ajla. Fatubu. So, and this is a command verb. So, turn. Remember taba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taba ila versus, or sorry, taba ala versus people taba ila. So tubu ila bari'ikum, turn, return ila bari'ikum. Bari means creator. It's just like fa'il. Bara'a bari. فَقُتُلُوا فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ فَقُتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. So, kill. Qatala means to kill. Faqutulu, again just like this. Tubu, faqutulu. They sound very different, but they're both the same form of command verb. Faqutulu, so kill. Anfusakum. And again, this sounds different because it has a weak letter. Okay. فَقُتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, so kill yourselves. أنفسكم أنفسكم. And again, this was their method of forgiveness, right? So if they wanted to repent, taba ila badikum, then what Musa commanded them to do, as they're instead of making dua, or either with or without, Allahu alam, but their the action that they had to do to make up for worshipping the calf, uqtulu anfusakum, they had to kill themselves. Dhalikum, and this was also confusing to some people. Dhalikum is not the plural of that, and we'll discuss that when we do Ishara today, because today is the actual lesson. Dhalikum is still that, singular, masculine, that. Kum sometimes, kum and kuma are sometimes added. And I said this before, but it was very confusing. So listen carefully. Kum and kuma are sometimes added based on the audience you're talking to. This is talking about the whole Bani Israel, right? So it's saying, you guys, listen, that is better for you. Meaning one action. اقتلوا أنفسكم. The qital of yourselves is better for you. But better for who? Better for you all. It's ذَلِكُمْ literally means that which is for you. So meaning that هذا versus ذَلِكَ. This versus that. That's how we translate in English. هذا is this. ذَلِكَ is that. But literally ذَلِكَ means that laka, ذَلَكَ. That for you. That which is for you. So if you're talking to multiple people, even if it's single object, if you put a book in front of multiple people, ذَلِكُمْ is that book. But you're trying to tell all of them that which is with you all, meaning the book, still singular. So again, this is that singular, ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ, better for you all, inda barikum, with again bari, same word, with your creator, fataba alaykum, so he turns to you in forgiveness. Fataba alaykum, innahu, indeed he, huwa, he is, at-tawwab, the most forgiving or the most relenting, ar-rahim, the most merciful. And that should be the last ayah. Short ayahs today, inshallah. So if we'll feel any questions and review these ayahs, and then we'll do the grammar lesson, inshallah.